You know exactly what it feels like to keep starting over. You envision who you could become, get motivated, create a plan, and for a few days, it actually works. You make progress. You think, this time is different. Then you have a bad day. And that bad day turns to two, and two turns to a week. And suddenly you are right back where you started, waiting for the next surge of motivation so that you can reset your life. And after enough times through this loop, you stop questioning the plan and you start questioning yourself. You begin to ask, maybe I'm just weak, broken, or incapable of change. I know this pain, and I also know that you are not weak, broken, or incapable of change. I think you are using a method that directly contradicts human nature. You're not broken, your strategy is. The reason that most of us get stuck in this loop is because we want transformation, not minor change. You have a clear vision of who you want to become, and the gap between who you are and who you want to be seems unacceptable. So you try to close the entire gap at once. You try to build 6 new habits, cut off 3 addictions, change careers, optimize your health, reconstruct your identity, and become an entirely different version of yourself overnight. The problem is the patterns keeping you stuck were not built in a day. They have been reinforced over a lifetime. Your brain has practiced certain behaviors, emotional reactions, and responses to environmental triggers thousands of times. And so when the initial motivation fades, you don't rise to the vision you created during a state of blissful motivation. You fall back to the patterns that have made you who you are. And then you blame yourself for it. When the real problem is that you created a plan for the most motivated version of you and expected your real self to carry it. The mistake is thinking that intensity serves as proof that you are serious. You know you want it badly, so you think you should be able to change everything at once. Not only this, but you think attempting to do anything else shows that you don't actually care. The problem is intensity often contradicts sustainability, especially when it comes to changing deeply habitual behavior. When you try to change too many patterns at once, the task becomes too heavy and you drop it. When you drop it, you don't just blame the plan, you start to blame yourself. And this is how the reset loop becomes dangerous. Because every failed attempt is not just costing you progress, it's reinforcing negative beliefs and teaching you to trust yourself less. If you are stuck in this loop, I want to say it clearly. You are not the problem. You are not broken or weak. You just need a better system for change. Here is a core principle that will help you break this loop. Start small, then compound. Minimize the changes you are trying to make to 1 or 2 behaviors and set the standard you are trying to hit so low that it feels embarrassing. It should sting the ego. You should be thinking, there is no way I couldn't stick to this. It is so easy. Now, prove it. Commit to doing the thing every day and honestly track whether you do it or not. If you're able to do the behavior consistently for weeks at a time, that is when you raise the standard or add on a new behavior. But if you aren't, you lower the expectation until you can hit it consistently. You raise the standard once you have proven that you're able to hold your current load for an extended period of time. And by doing this, you give each pattern time to really develop. And the longer it's able to be reinforced, the easier it will become to repeat the behavior every day until it becomes automatic. By starting small and focusing purely on consistency, you are able to actually reinforce better patterns long enough for them to really stick. Whenever you hit your standards, that's when you keep stacking on difficulty. By repeating this process, what starts as one embarrassingly easy change will compound into a life full of better habits. And if you change enough habits, you change who you are. So here is a simple framework to start this process. Choose one behavior that you are trying to build and set the standard extremely low. Choose one behavior that you want to reduce and select a boundary that will help you reduce that behavior. Start with a 1 week commitment. Every day, track whether you completed your behaviors or not. When you miss a day, you don't give up. You just track it, ask yourself what happened, and keep playing. On your first week, you might only succeed on 50% of days, but that 50% can turn to 60, and then 80, and then 100% if you just keep playing and keep trying to improve. And this is not just some abstract concept for me. I started over more times than I could count. I lived this loop for years, and I hated myself for it. What changed was that I switched my method and deliberately started applying this. Over the last year, I have lost 70 pounds, increased my strength by 30%, bumped up my income by $30,000, and cut off multiple addictive behaviors, all because I started applying this method for change. I'm not saying this to brag. I'm saying this because it is the reason that I know this works when applied over time. Now, if you are a driven man in your 20s who is stuck in this start strong, collapse, reset loop, I have created a free challenge in which you will build one behavior, break one behavior, and track your score for 7 days. It's a game you can play against yourself based on the principles that we've talked about here that will help you start creating change that actually lasts. If you want to learn more or start the challenge, go to progresstheory.com to start the free Stop Starting Over challenge. For anyone who has listened this far, I hope that you create all the progress you are looking for in your life, and I will see you next time.